But I mean, quarantine, and there's been a lot of stuff going on since Corona started, so apologies for my absence. But I'm back today with Lola again to do the Q&A that we promised you for the business segment that we did, for the last business video that we did. Received positive feedback from quite a lot of you, so thank you for that. So yeah, it's been on my mind to do the Q&A because we did promise it to you guys, and definitely wanted to come and just give you all of the information that you needed, that you asked for especially. And seeing us as quarantine, you might as well do the steps and do the things that you need to do to get your business started or get your business rolling to the next level. So we're just gonna literally say the questions, or I'm gonna put them here or somewhere, and then just gonna answer each and every question. Yeah. Money. Okay, so initially, yeah, money was definitely the motivation and the inspiration because we had no money. So when you have no money, you need money to live. Like, to be honest, all of that, when people say, oh, money's not my motivation, money shouldn't be your main motivation, it is, because that's what you need to survive in life. But I also think, like, seeing, also just being the fact that if, like, well, not if, when we make it as billionaires maybe, well, when we make it as millionaires, like, we will actually be like the first millionaires in our family. So I think that is also an achievement, just to push, like, for our family, so that, like, our future generations will literally have wealth, and it won't be a struggle of, oh, we've always got to grind and always got to make money. Because I just feel like I don't want that to be the narrative for my future generations and my future children and grandchildren. I want them to be like, no, do you know our grandma Liz had money? So I feel like that is also a push, and, like, just to make my life and my family's life better. And I also feel like inspo, in terms of people, I definitely think I would say somebody like Kylie Jenner, just because, I'm sorry, yes, some people argue that she hasn't, you know, she comes from money and, you know, whatever, and the Kardashians, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I feel like the way the Kardashians move is just so smart, especially Kylie. Like, she could have sat down and had the wealth that she'd got, or enjoyed from her mom, or whatever savings her mom had got her. But no, she turned that million or 100,000 into a billion. So that for me is a complete inspo, and that is a real boss bish, because that means you're not willing to stop because, oh, I'm comfortable. You want to keep going and reaching new heights and new levels. So I would say those things are my motivation and what keeps me going. And yeah. Want to say anything?
No, I would say it's the same thing.
Okay, cool.
I feel like it's pretty random, but being that we all kind of have the same style, we like the same types of things, it's kind of like, oh, I would like this, and then Liza will be like, oh, I like that, and then Valerie will be like, add this in. So it's kind of like a collaborative effort, in the sense that, yeah, we get ideas, then we figure out, is this going to be feasible? How expensive is it going to be to do it? So yeah, we kind of just draw it up in our heads. We might, like, see something we like and think, oh, what about if I tweak it like this? Or sometimes you just wake up and you have an idea, then we draw it down, and then, yeah, we do it on Illustrator, and then between ourselves we kind of decide, okay, do we really want this? And then we kind of start figuring out, okay, when should we release this? It's only in the last, I would say, since December, that we've kind of decided to have some type of structure in terms of designing the stuff, getting the samples made, and then actually saying, okay, let's release this in January, let's do this in February, let's do this in March. So yeah, that's how we come up with our designs.
I would say yes and no. And I know that's a very annoying answer, but why I'm saying yes or no is because, yes, in the sense that you can have like £100 and you can start something, even if it's like we said, doing wholesale and things like that. Yeah, so especially if you want to do wholesale, make a bit of cash and then flip it. But when I'm saying no is because if you kind of don't want to do that route, or later on down the line you say, oh, I don't want to do wholesale anymore, I want to start making the stuff myself, you are going to need some type of cash injection, like whether it's from your business making a lot of sales or not, even if your business is doing really well, you probably will need some type of cash injection, especially when you want to scale up. So have more products or expand in any type of way. So that's why I say yes or no, because just because you started today, in 6 months time your business might be flourishing and you're like, no, I want to do things on a bigger scale, you're still classed as a startup. So you kind of will need to look for some type of way to get more investment, or whether it's you're saving every single penny from your side hustle or your whatever other avenues you have of making money, you will need to add a bit of money. So I think even if you start off really small, just bear in mind that at some point you're going to need to put, you know, maybe a couple hundred to thousands of pounds. So yeah, that's me personally. I would just say that's the advice I would give everyone. Some people might say no, just start with nothing or as little as you possibly can, but at some point you're definitely going to need to add in.
No, I would also say having a lot of money is very relative. What might be a lot of money to someone, like what 3-4 grand might be a lot to someone, but to someone else it's like that's nothing. I think when we started, 3-4 grand sounded like a lot of money, but then when you do a collection, it can just about make 1 to 2 items if you're lucky. So that answer is very relative. It's about what money means to you.
And you need to decide how many products you want and how many of each product you want, because that's going to affect your costs, whether you're doing wholesale or making the stuff from scratch yourself. So it's really just relative. You have to do your research, but I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, you can start your business with like
£10.
£10 or £50.
No, you need a couple hundred. Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, in this times have changed. Yeah, you need a couple hundred at least. Okay, next question.
We haven't had to take out a business loan, so we can't really say yes. But
and it's asking if it's appropriate.
Okay, how do you know if it's appropriate? I would say the first thing first is, okay, like she said before about getting to a stage in your business where you're doing so well, and let's say the turnover you're making is not enough and you need a cash injection. If you are 100% positive that you can make back that money very quickly, then why not? Go for it, 100%. But I would never say for you to go and just take out a business loan and start a business, because that doesn't make any sense. Anything can happen. For instance, look, coronavirus has happened and you don't know what type of impacts that would have. Let's say you had a business that involves you touching people, seeing people. That is going to impact your business, especially if you've taken out a business loan. If you're doing something that's like online, doesn't require you to have contact with people, or doesn't require you to go into an office, or, you know, anything like that, then that's fine. It's not going to necessarily affect you. But again, do you have the customers? Are your customers or the clientele, is it there enough for you to continue doing what you're doing? So the cash injection can definitely be made quickly. That's when I would say it's appropriate, is when you know you can make back that money and surplus, pay your bills, do everything you need to do, and it doesn't affect you.
I would also, just to add, I would actually say whether it's appropriate depends on how good you are with money, like yourself. Because just because you're making money from your business doesn't necessarily mean you're good with money. If you know how to, you know, put money aside, or even if it's like, let's say worst case scenario, for some reason your business stops making money and you still got to make those loan repayments, you know that you're going to have money to still pay for the loan, then I would say it's appropriate for you to get a business loan. But if you haven't exhausted all types of like getting money from some other way, and you know that, okay, I can actually afford to get a loan, then you can get a loan. But if not, then don't do it.
Yeah, and the interest rates that some of these loans are doing is crazy.
It's
like
too high,
it's not even worth your time, to be honest. You're better off just grinding
and doing the long game.
Doing the long way, because it's just not worth it. Again, if you have to like do anything that you don't morally believe in, just again don't do it. If it feels wrong, don't do it. If you're having to go to a loan shark, don't do it. Don't do anything that you're going to regret somewhere down the line. Don't do anything that is illegal that somewhere down the line you're going to feel like, oh my god, like I wish I didn't do that.
No,
Just
it's not worth it.
keep the wits about you, and don't sell yourself short. If you believe in yourself, then it will happen. And if your product is A1, the quality is A1, then you have nothing to worry about. It will sell itself.
It's actually trial and error. Like we said in the last video, Google, and you have to do the research yourself. It's not going to be a thing of there might be a forum, but even still, I wouldn't trust it. Like, yeah, people might say, oh, I had such a great experience with this guy or this manufacturer, and da, 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 da. But when you go to use them, it's not the same. So it's actually trial and error. You have to see, research, go and know if they have a website, go on it. If they have, however you can message them, ask them to see things they've done in the past, look at it, ask them if they can send you any of those samples. If you can go there, I would always advise to go there. And then when you go there, you just have to do your due diligence. It's like looking for a new house or buying a new car. You need to inspect. So see how they run the business. When you go there, do they show you samples? Do they show you a colour book? Like, do they show you different things? Do they talk to you about different materials? Like, can you ask them? Are you able to ask them if they can source materials for you? And what's their response? Like, you need to see how they work and what their processes are, and then judge it from there.
There is no one trick formula for everyone, and this goes, again, sorry to go back, but it goes back to the business loan. It goes back to how much money is suitable. Like, there could be like a room of 20 people and everyone is given, you know, 5k. It doesn't mean that everyone is going to know what to do with that 5k. Regards to our manufacturing, yes, like she said, it's a trial and error process, but what we did differently around this business, and I feel like what's really helping us, is that we literally visited every single manufacturer that we're working with. We went to visit them because we needed to know who we're working with. Like, what's your process?
Yeah, like, is it a sweatshop or like? Yeah,
is it ethically sourced? All of this type of stuff. Is it what we stand for? Because there's no point of going and being with people that are just running a sweatshop, and
or they're gonna go AWOL on you and take your money.
Not professional. Don't understand how to communicate well. Doesn't know how to bounce back from problems. Like, if there's a problem, will they know what to do? You need to fill these people out. No, such a valuable process, because I feel like we just learned so much and we saw so much, and you have a greater appreciation for what they do. Because like we said in the last video, you know, if you were trying to get stuff made here, you need to get everything. You need to get all your materials, your zips, your buttons, everything. And again,
that's the unique thing about China. They do
here, there's a manufacturing quantity order for everything. So you might only want 400 yards of one material in the UK, but in China they don't really do it like that. It'll be like, okay, depending on whatever material you've chosen, they will tell you how many yards, when they buy it, how many pieces can be made from that yard of material. So let's say they've got like 50 yards or something, they'll be like, okay, this can only make 45 pieces. So do you want to do 45 pieces? Do you want to do 90 pieces? Do you want to do 130 pieces? Like, that's how they would do it. It would never just, like, you have to keep trial and error, and depending on if the factory is well established, their manufacturing quantity orders are going to be way higher. But if they're just good and nobody really knows about them, then it's going to be slightly lower. And that is why people are very reluctant to give out their manufacturers, because the more people are going to that specific manufacturer, the more business they get. You go down the totem pole. So there's no point. That's why. So hopefully people don't take offence when people are not so willy-nilly with giving out. To just throw
out a manufacturer, because you have to. It's essentially like your interview manufacturers the same way you would go for a job interview, and that is a serious thing. Like, that doesn't happen in one go. You have phases of interviews, so that's not something that you just start throwing at anyone out. Like, yeah, this is my manufacturer, call her, do all this. It's not a seamstress.
And even when you have a good manufacturer, still have 2 or 3 as backup. So if the person is not available, you've still got loads of people to go back to, and you know their quality is equally unmatched. I think this is more a mind over matter thing, because a lot of people ask this question like it's such a chore. We are passionate about this, so We are passionate about what we
We
do.
might have hobbies.
But we are passionate about what we do. So guess what? This comes before anything for me. This is like my child for me personally. I can't speak for everyone, but it just, you find the time. If you're passionate about something with anything, you will find the time. If you don't want, if you're not passionate, you will find an excuse, and that's the truth. It's not about, I just don't have the time. I'm doing 1,000,001 things. She's doing 1,000,001 things. Value's doing 1,000,001 things, but we still find the time to make things done. In terms of balancing, we now have schedules in the sense that we have our normal schedule, then we have like our business schedule where we want to do releases, where we want to do photo shoots. Like everything is so meticulous to the point that we know when we're supposed to be doing things. Yeah. Sometimes we are, you know, sometimes we might change what we're doing and it might fluctuate. Like let's say the weather's terrible, we need to shoot outside, we might have to do the shoot on another day.
Yeah, nothing's ever gonna be
like down to, sometimes it has, and when it does, it's amazing. But for the most part, we just try and plan our ways round. For people that work full time, it's good when you have the option of working from home, because that means that you can also split your day up. You don't have to just literally be stuck in an office.
Yeah, sometimes you have to sacrifice your weekends. That's just the truth of it. It's not every weekend or Saturday and Sundays for playtime. If
drinking
you're
with mates,
if you're working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, then you need to know that Saturday and Sunday and evenings are dedicated to your business hustle. Like even if it's 1 to 2 hours a day, it's something. Obviously you don't want to like crash and burn, but you have to just provide the time that you're sitting there to do other things or watching Netflix, or I don't know, you could just be doing something with your business, or you could be doing both, because people can multitask. But you just have to find the time, and the time is there. You just have to
find the time.
Yeah, just
if Beyonce can do it, so can I.
Right. Obviously, I would definitely say social media, because that helps. I feel like gone are the day, not gone, but it's not as much like, you know, when you put your thing on a billboard, or you put your thing on a bus, or on the train. Even though the train, it is eye-catching, but let's be real, how many of us have seen an advert on the bus or train and then we're going, oh, let me go to www. Like, you're not going to do that. It might remind you that the shop exists, but you're not going to start searching then and there. So I would say social media is like A1, because it's instant, it's in your face, you can swipe up and you've got a link directly to that thing that you like. Like, it's just completely, it's a whole nother level. Influencers, which is part of the whole social media, like, I don't know what you call it.
Social.
Part of the whole social media camp, whatever. So yeah, those two combined, you're onto a winner. The fact that things can even go viral nowadays, like literally the World Wide Web is your oyster when it comes to promoting your brand, because it allows you to reach millions of people worldwide, whereas like doing the old form of like advertising, like in a newspaper, magazine, it's only gonna reach a certain region or nation if you're lucky. So definitely, like, the internet is the best way to promote your brand. Influencers, anyone that's influential, that has a big following, that actually engages with their followers, those are the people that you want screaming and talking about your brand, or even just saying, oh my gosh, that thing looks really nice. You don't have to necessarily wear it, but word of mouth, like you said, power of the tongue, also helps. So that's what I would say.
Yes, like she said, most people are always on their phone. People are not doing anything else. Everyone is even the vegans, they're on their phone. So sorry.
Why would the vegans not be on their phone?
I'm joking. Sorry.
If you're vegan, don't take offense.
Don't take offense. No offense taken. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, everyone is on their phone. It's a fast-paced era, especially if you're having an online business. Most people's stuff is online. People like visual, friendly stuff, like looking at things, seeing things, wanting stuff. That's how people behave. I mean, there's other avenues which are quite controversial. Like you could do, like, what was that thing that we did? A mob thing when you kind of go
Oh,
in the
walk.
streets.
Oh yeah, okay. So
And
that,
you like, you can do some controversial things. Like when we did our old business, one of the things we did was that we
got all the girls to wear
Swimwear.
bikinis, and then they basically did like a beach party in Oxford Circus, Oxford Street. So they had like just all fun things that you'd have on the beach, and then they were just like engaging with people on the street, dancing. We had like a boom box, and just, we were giving out ice lollies, alcoholic ice lollies, other little preps. We did that with Vamp. So shout out to you guys.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, we did that with Vamp.
And it reached a lot of people. So
and I think it was even in some like publications. So yeah, things like that is good because it's like word of mouth, even though some people copied, but okay. Yeah, another brand copied us like literally a couple months later. But
but it got the job done, and everyone was talking about it. So
so it helps, and it's literally, even if they don't know it's you, they'll know that is that brand, or I remember that because that was right outside Topshop, Oxford Circus Station. So if you was in London that day, you would have definitely seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And lastly, I would say yourself. Like, you can only promote your stuff as like you know how to promote your things yourself. Even though yes, you can pay people and people are good, nobody's going to be as passionate as you are about your brand yourself. So if you are doing a clothing brand, just try and be promoting on your Instagram. Try and wear your stuff.
Get your following up.
Get your following up. Just push it yourself because people tend to buy into the person. We use GoDaddy
For the domain.
for the domain name, and then we use Shopify as where we host our website.
Yeah.
They have loads of themes, and you can use the basic themes if you want to keep things standardized. Again, like using fonts that's very like user friendly. It's not about whether you like it. Make sure you're asking people, is this good? Is it just easy to use? Testing out like your website's easy to use and stuff like that. Also using really sharp, high quality images on your websites is very attracting. Me as a shopper, I love when I can just glide through a website with ease. I love when the images are clear. I can zoom in. I can check, any details on the outfit that I want to see. The more details, the better. Being very descriptive about the products is really good. Using unique names is really good. Just making sure that everything is the same. So the sizes of the pictures are the same. The fonts, every font you're using on your website is the same. The links are all working. What else?
Good user experience. That's what you want. Like, you're a user yourself. You use the internet, every single day. So when you go on a website, what do you want to see? You don't want to go on a site and it looks jumbled up or blindsided with just too many colours. Like you need to have a brand cohesion, and you just need to like know, okay, this is what my brand is about. So when people see these things, they'll know that that's my brand. And when they go on the site, that's what they expect to see, and that is what they get to see. So yeah, just things like that. You have to be quite particular.
Doing wholesale, please make sure you take your own pictures, because the last thing I want to see is to go on a website and to see that you've stolen somebody else's picture, because that's not going to make me buy as a consumer.
And that makes me feel like you're not a real business.
You're not
and I'm not even
trustworthy.
saying that to sound like a bougie business person, but that makes me think that you're just doing some quick money scheme, that you just want to get cash like that.
Eat in today, gone tomorrow.
Oh, my manufacturer sent me this picture, so you don't need to use that picture because your manufacturer sent it to you. Your manufacturer sent it to you so you can see what the item looks like. Go and have a photo shoot and do it yourself. Like,
and if you can't afford a photo shoot, as we said in the last video, use your iPhone, blur it out. There's so many techniques and tricks of how to remove things. It's so simple.
There's different types of models, first of all. So you have, let's say, I don't want to say Instagram models. It's not a bad term. It's just like,
they're only good on Instagram.
And then you have models that are really good, but they're just not signed for whatever reason. Maybe what's holding them back is their height, or they just have never been scouted. And then you have models that are with an agency. So when you have models that are with an agency, their fee is going to be their fee. Like, it's going to, the agency would have given them what their fee is and said, yeah, this is what it is, and that's how it usually works for the most part. I have heard of some cases with people that are signed. If they really like somebody, they'll still work with them. Maybe they'll give them a discounted rate, but it's like, I don't think it's really, models don't usually do that, and if they are going to do that, I think it's kind of like off the books, and they have to kind of ask for permission, and it's a once in a while type thing. With models that are not Insta models, I will say that the rates change. I mean, in life you have to negotiate, so every model has their own rate, whatever they think is what they deserve to be paid, and yeah, that's literally it. I mean, the best thing I would say is, if you have a budget, be honest about what your budget is and tell the model, I can afford to pay you X, Y, and Z. If they're not happy with that, try and negotiate. If they literally say no, I wouldn't advise you to kill a cow just to pay the model, because I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. You might have seen someone model for someone and the pictures look nice, but on the day when they come to model for you, it's not good enough, or it's not what you expected, and I will be damned if I've literally gone to fork out extra cash to pay a model who I thought had potential because I saw her on somebody's page on Instagram, but when on the day she's not producing for me the way I thought that they would. So it's a really tricky situation. I can't tell you a specific rate. I just think, honestly, go with what your budget is. Don't be cheeky and think, I'm going to pay them £25 for an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
But just try and be reasonable. Think, if I was going to do an 8-hour or 4-hour, however long the shoot is, how much would I realistically want to be paid? And then try and take it from there. And then obviously, once you talk to models, you'll
get a vibe.
Yeah, you'll get a vibe, and they'll tell you what their rate is and whatnot. I mean, on the odd occasion, you might get some models that are just, you know, for instance, you might find a gem that literally doesn't even know their potential, and they're willing to do it for you for free because they understand you're starting up and whatnot. But even with that, I would say, don't take that person for granted. So even if they do one shoot for you for free, bear in mind that the next time you use them, you have to pay them. Yeah, and just treat them good, because I think it's very important. You can't get someone to come model for you and you don't treat them good. And then as for like Insta baddies models or whatever, I don't know, I'd just say don't use them.
I just wanted to quickly add as well that if you get a good photographer, a really good photographer, you can afford to not necessarily get a good model, because the photographer would be trained to get the best out of that model. But if you get a really good model and a bad photographer, it's no guarantee your pictures are going to look nice, and then you're going to be annoyed, and then you're going to feel like, oh, but that model was meant to be really, really good.
We've had that actually.
Yeah, we've had that before, and then we just don't use the pictures, and it's no disrespect.
And it's not the model, it's the photographer.
It's the photographer. So if we don't like it,
that we use every single time.
Yeah, our photographer is A1. His name as well. That's cool on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. He is amazing.
Yeah, and he's quick. That's another thing. Also JKG. She's a really good photographer as well. So it's just, you need people that are going to be swift. You tell them what you want.
They get it. They produce it. Bish bash bobs.
For a good photo shoot, successful photo shoot, get your good photographer. If the models are not amazing, it's not too bad. But, know how to direct them. Yeah. Be able to say to them, chin down, suck in your belly, tilt your body like this. Yeah. Don't just let them stand there and waste your time. Storyboard. Make a storyboard before you have your photo shoot, so you know exactly how you want the lighting to be, the location you want it to be, the timing. Time is money. Don't waste people's time. If you know you don't have money, try and figure out how you're going to make it work.
I don't know if I said this before, but just some models have an hourly rate and then other models have a day rate. But so just because somebody says my day rate is £400, for example, if you're only shooting for 2 hours, doesn't mean you should pay them £400. So you have to just be smart. Just calculate it in your head what makes sense. So yeah, that's a disclaimer. We are going to do a complete video dedicated to influencers, because we get a lot of questions about them and how we get people to wear our stuff. Just so much. Like, there's good, there's bad, and there's ugly.
ugly.
So we just think, do you know what? We're just going to do a serious video about it because we have a lot to say. We've experienced a lot of good and bad when it comes to influencers. So we want to give people like a better insight. Give this video a thumbs up if you definitely want to see us talk about influencers and like the whole brand, having a brand and getting influencers. Give us a thumbs up if you want that for the next video, and we'll do it. So we're just going to touch on this question briefly. But yeah.
How we get them on board? As of recently, they slide in our DMs.
Like we were saying in the last video, like Lola was touching on it, that if your product is really good, it will speak for itself. And I feel like that's not even, honestly, we're not trying to sound big-headed at all, but I think when people see what they like and they like what they see, oh, how do I get into that? Especially if people see their friends
wearing it
in that stuff, they then want it even more. So it's influencing, and the whole getting influencers to wear something. It's actually a game.
Yeah, it's just very, you know, hit and miss, and you just have to try and understand it. If they see their peer that's also influencer wearing it, they're gonna want it. It just happens. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with it. People have FOMO. It's natural. It happens in society. New iPhone comes out, everyone's getting it. You need to get. You don't even know why you're getting it. You just know that it has a new camera. The same thing with your products. If people see like, oh, it looked really nice on her, I only like this to go to this event, people are gonna come. So in the very beginning, yes, we had reached out to a couple of influencers, but again, people that really represented us, that we wanted to work with, and we've had some really lovely people that they love our stuff. They normally charge X, but they like our stuff so much to send it. Yeah. So yeah, but the only downside about, you know, sending people stuff and not paying them is that you don't know when they're gonna post
when and if they are gonna post it, because yeah,
like 90% of the influencers we have worked with just doing this women's wear, they have worn our stuff, no complaints, they're happy to wear it, you know, their intentions are pure. But again, that's not gonna be everyone's story. You are gonna get a lot of crazies that are gonna be, hey, love your stuff, love to collab. You do it and all now silence. I think we have to do a separate video on that because that one is
the steps are long.
It's too long, and a lot of people, when they start getting these bright ideas, they go and register their business straight away. So
I don't think it's necessary.
That's not necessary.
I mean,
we did that. So yeah, it just depends. If you know the rate, or you can anticipate the rate that your brand is going to be at, then yes, go for it. But if that's not the case, if there's going to be a couple of months where you know that you're not going to make absolutely any money, then
and I think as well, obviously with women's wear, we'd already had prior experience with another business, so it's different for us. We know what, like, we've dipped our toe in the water. If you have not dipped your toe in the water, I would not say just today, I've got my idea, I haven't even got clothes or haven't gone to any manufacturers and I'm just going to register the business. No, you need to just slow your roll, honey, and just, you know, take baby steps.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can do another video on that because we want this to be like a whole segment. So yeah, we can do another video on that. But for now, I would just say, yeah, just hold off like on the legal stuff until your brand is a bit more mature.
Off
just
the
a little,
ground,
just off
least.
the ground.
Dry your tears, because baby girl, this is a long ride. This is not like, this is not pennies to millions overnight. It's literally a marathon, and I know that sounds cliche, but you need to like be a quick thinker, logical thinker, detach your emotions from what's going on, and just be a business head in everything you do.
I would say just remain humble at all times and don't get too complacent with anything. So just because you've done one sick design and people are buying and buying and buying, don't get complacent and start getting lazy and not doing the steps that you did before. Just always be hardworking and always be trying to push yourself to get to the next level. Like, even if you have a goal and you reach it, be like, okay, I've met this goal now, I need to set myself a new goal and I need to push myself. Like, don't ever get complacent. That's one thing I would definitely tell myself.
Expect the unexpected. Like, no matter what, your delivery could say it's coming today and it doesn't turn up today. are you going to sit there and cry?
Yeah.
No, you need to think of what to do. Communication is key.
Don't put your eggs in one basket, especially when it
And,
comes
yeah.
to people, manufacturers. When I say people, I just mean like people that do stuff for you. So even if you have like staff or photographers or just like for anything, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. I wish I knew coronavirus was coming.
Yeah, coronavirus.
You wish we knew that was happening. But last question. I do think we have times just in general when you're like, oh, when are we gonna get to where we want to go? Because
where we deserve
like
to
the
be,
thing is,
yeah.
to other people they might look at us and be like, oh, you lot are good, da, 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 da. But we know in our minds, like we can see the bigger picture. So when you're not reaching or you feel like you're not exactly there yet, it is hard. And I feel like that's what makes it high and low. But I feel like the constant cycle of it being high and low helps.
Life.
And
like,
yeah, that's life.
You
If everything was so good, you would never appreciate anything. So
yeah.
I think it's 100% worth it, because today I could be crying, but tomorrow I'm rejoicing and like literally
You need
jumping.
to be very resilient. You need to really have thick skin and just like she said, don't get complacent. And it's not about is it really worth it. For us, it's worth it.
Yeah,
like,
if that's your passion, it's always going to be worth it.
When we design stuff and we discuss it and we talk about the colours and all this type of stuff, and then when it arrives in London or when we go to the manufacturer, it's a feeling that you can't even explain. It's almost like, you know, when some that's what
I do in my mind when I'm getting happy. Like that's what I think.
When like, you know, an art album, and then again when you finish making that product and then you now give it to the customers, and the customers are like, oh, love it, like
wearing it, taking pictures. Like honestly, when you guys tag us in things, that really makes us happy, and especially when the content you produce is so nice. Like it just makes us happy, because at the end of the day, we're making it because we like clothes and we want to have nice things to wear, but it's sick to see it on other people, like
so really,
random strangers wearing our stuff. Like it's such a nice feeling when people send us pictures and was like, oh, we went here and we saw this girl wearing your stuff. That's like the best feeling. Thanks guys, that is it. Questions that we've received, well, not all of the questions, but we just took the ones that we thought were really good.
We saw a lot.
Yeah, sort of potential in it. If there's anything else that you guys want to ask, then like you feel free to DM us. Feel free to write in the YouTube comments like any questions that you have, and then like we'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you love this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Tell your mum, tell your friends, tell your auntie, uncle, dogs, nieces, nephew, everyone, because it's quarantine and everyone's at home, so there's no excuse to not watch YouTube. You're not too busy. Yeah, so see you next time.